get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast. Hey, I got a podcast.
What is up? What is good, everybody? Welcome to I'll Piss You Off Shortly podcast. We are on a Wednesday night. I do know what's going on, but I don't know what's going on. It's been a crazy 2 weeks. That's why we're on a Wednesday night. But anyways, welcome everybody to the I'll Piss You Off Shortly podcast. I am your host, Rob Benjamin, alongside with my other host. I don't want to say co-host anymore because he's just as important. I feel like co-host is it's like A mic, B mic. No, you're still the host. So you're another host. So along with my other host, Joe Aguirre. Joe, how are you doing, brother?
Good. It's funny that you say that. I actually, I teach broadcasting classes, and that's one of the things I tell people. I'm like, I don't know. What does that even mean? It does. It sounds like you're like the second chair.
Exactly. Exactly. And that's not what it is here. I'll piss you off shortly, even though what started, me supposed to be doing my rants and, cussing conservatives out and alt-right people out, but it grew into us connecting and really growing a bond and really pissing people off in a collective way. And then sometimes also pissing each other off in a certain way, but in a way that we're still able to engage. So I was if I can communicate with somebody like this, that's amazing. I wish I could communicate with my significant others not to say I have others, but that's a whole nother story. What we'll kind of get into. But anyways, so yes, that's awesome that you. So what's the kind of the thought process of the students when you talk about that? Are they kind of with it, especially now with this new generation? I feel like they're more of a collective. They're more about giving each other credit and stuff like that, or are they no, we kind of coho doesn't matter, whatever the case may be.
They just listen to what I say because they know I know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I tell them don't use, one of the things that, so a few years ago, while I was still doing the radio thing, they sent us to this seminar in Boston. All the radio personalities in the area got together. And one of the things that they said that day that I sort of walked away from was the younger generation of people want positive messaging. Mm-hmm. And again, right, to sort of relegate somebody to co-host doesn't really mean anything. Nobody even knows what that means, right? What does that even mean? And so, I tell them any small talk is stupid, unless you're making a point. Hey, Rob, how's it going? Good. How are you? I'm great. Who cares? What did we get out of that?
Exactly.
You ask me how I'm doing when I got into a confrontation with my neighbor and there's a story coming, right?
Exactly.
Or, you know what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that because, at the end of the day, look, we're out here trying to entertain people. That's what this is. And while we certainly do piss people off, it's funny. I got a phone call from a buddy of mine who's a big Republican who's watched this show a couple times.
Okay.
And he's a former Republican mayor, pretty big time here in Connecticut.
Interesting.
And yeah. And he said to me, because he knows I'm registered Republican, and he was like, "What the hell are you doing out there talking about?" And I was like,
"What's that black guy?"
I'm like, listen, here's the reality of it. I obviously have been voting Democrat of late, still registered as a Republican. And people will say, well, why don't you join the Democratic Party? And I'm like, I don't want to. What I would like to see is the Republican Party get back to business, to not be the party of the white nationalist movement, and to repudiate that. I mean, they're still going to vote your way. You don't have to embrace it.
Exactly. Just like I was telling somebody who was like, 'cause I was just discussing with a Republican friend, and he was like, you're not so thrilled about Biden now. I don't see you, congratulating him. Or I said no. I said I never voted Biden because I thought he was great. I said I'm not even a registered Democrat. I'm what is it? Independent. I'm registered independent. I actually have, if anybody's been listening and learning about me, I have quite a few conservative maybe views. I don't know if it's conservative or Republican. I don't want to really. It might be conservative views. You know what I mean? But like, I don't want to sit there and say like conservatives own like pro Second Amendment, right? That like I feel like that, and that's interesting, right? That like all these American ways, those are owned by the conservatives instead of it being like I'm a person, I'm a human being. I like these things. Why does I have to fall in line with a conservative way when it can be just no? That's a citizen way, or instead of just being like an American way. But you know what I mean? Because I don't know. But what was I saying?
Well, so I was actually going to say I really like the point that you were making because, right? I hear from my Republican friends who say things like, Joe Biden supports Antifa.
That's okay. Bet so.
What? No, he doesn't. Right? Just because, and listen, and here's where they get a little confused. Well, just because white nationalists are voting our way, that doesn't mean that we embrace them, but you do. I've never seen Joe Biden be like, yeah, Antifa. That's not.
That's not what he's screaming. He's also like play or shun them, like pretty much said like, hey, we don't need them. I don't support you guys, blah, blah, blah. And I brought up the point that, Antifa routed their website to the White House, which I wonder if that's ever like been fixed. I'm not even going to check. But to my point of saying when I was talking to my Republican friend that, no, I don't think that Biden is the savior or anything like that. To me, he was Uncle Joe when Obama was there. So he was just like he was the white uncle. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was like, I don't know if you ever watched 50 Cent's Power, but he was like, and like he was like the Tommy to Tommy in Power. He was like the white Uncle Tommy, right? Anybody that watches Power, they'll have that reference. But anyways, so. And I had to tell him, I said, no, I don't feel like screaming or talking about politics, especially right now, because one, I'm tired of it. And two, like, at least if I dislike what Biden's doing, it's because it's a genuine thing. He's not just being an arrogant bigot about things. You know what I'm saying? He's just dumb in some aspects, right? I don't agree with how he right off the back he signed an executive order for, and this I'm not upset about this. I'm so glad that he did this. But where I'm going with this is that he signed the executive order supporting, trans rights and equal rights and stuff like that, right? Right off the bat, boom. LGBTQ plus rights off the back. And he's still just been promising, these open promises about doing the police reform, the George Floyd bill, right? Still haven't put anything into effect. So while I'm glad that he put the executive order in for the safety for LGBTQ plus rights, it's just like where are we at with protecting not even just black people, just citizens from getting murdered, from police officers? Where are we still not holding these people accountable, right? And I spoke about it a couple episodes ago, how it's like it's kind of like a shady thing that the politics play in the aspect of, they got to wait and see. But it's like Derek Chauvin, he's been found guilty. Granted, he hasn't been sentenced yet. We're still waiting for sentencing, right? But even though I did just hear as of late, they're trying to like push for a retrial. They've submitted for like a retrial or something already, saying that the judge and the jurors messed up the case and all this other shit. We knew this was kind of going to happen, right? But anyways, not to get off the topic of that, but like, Biden's not putting any effort. He's making more of an effort to calm down, I was about to say the riots and the protest. The riots and the protests, but what I'm saying? Like he's not taking an initiative to actually hold these officers accountable, right? Neither is Kamala Harris. So it's just like they they're not even, oh my God, not to mention how Kamala Harris is now riding on the America is not a racist country fucking train now. And it's just like, really, I kind of expected this to happen. Of course, they would switch gears, and usually this is what happens within the first 6 months. Every Democrat that gets the black vote, to include Obama, that, you know, used the black vote to get them voted within the 6 months. So like, yeah, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it. We're working on it. We always hear that in the black community. Hell, the Asian community got protected before us, which thank God. But it's just like, doesn't that speak to the strength of African Americans that we still have to endure being last in the country that we helped build? I mean, I could be tripping, right?
Well, I mean, again, you know, and like I said to my friend the other day, I'm like, dude, listen, you know, my daughter's name is Reagan. I mean, I named my daughter after my favorite president. His economic policies were fails. It seemed the trickle down stuff seemed like a good idea. If the rich get the money, it'll trickle its way down to everybody else. We found what happens is they hoard it. No good. Not a good economic plan at the end of the day. But one thing that Ronald Reagan always talked about is corporations paying their fair share. The same thing Bernie's been saying and Hillary was saying and Biden said. You know, why the Republicans believe that they have to protect corporations is beyond me. Certainly small business.
Yeah.
You know, and we know how much small business people make. And so when we're talking about taxing that next group up at a higher rate, and there's poor Republicans who are like, no, you're like, what is wrong with you? Why wouldn't you? You know, and then I get to, well, they're going to move overseas. Then you just put tariffs on the stuff so that you make it not worth their while to leave. Because if you're not an American company, you have to ship your product here, you're going to have to pay a tax.
Can we talk about kind of like that, and even just like, you know, how I think us outsourcing to so many, you know, our companies outsourcing out of the United States, and how expensive it is just to, right? So like you right. So even to the point where if I get something, right? So I've started a business, right? Well, not started a business, but I'm working on starting a business, right? And I get certain goods, right? It's still, even the goods that I get, it's cheaper to be produced out of the country, taxed, tariffed, and come in versus getting it made in the United States, right? So where, isn't that kind of flawed, right? So are we taxing our own companies? Like that maybe that tax rate, right, should be a lot less if we have an American company that's manufacturing something. And you know what I'm saying? Whatever, or give them some kind of benefit. So that way it's not so high for us to, you know what I mean? Like help them out instead of like not taxing, you know what I mean? These big companies that obviously outsource. Like, yeah, like raise their taxes or some shit like that. And then make it good to manufacture in the, you know, in the United States. Of course, there's going to be those kind of like environmental laws and stuff like that. But like you're telling me in 2021 where people are making 3D printed, you know what I mean, things and every, you know what I mean, 3D houses. I just saw a post not too long ago about some guy building a whole 3D house. You know, a 3D. Yeah, I'm saying it right. Yeah, a 3D wax fucking house. Yeah. So you're just, you know what I mean. So we can't change or we can't have better manufacturing conditions. Like hydrogen fuel, like that has to be a better way to, you know what I mean, produce some things. You know what I mean? Like using that to reproduce some things or manufacture some things. I don't know. It's just crazy. The way we tax ourselves. The way we don't even, like, you would think that like that would be kind of like a priority, right? That we would educate ourselves, and we've said this time and time again, right? The educational system, how it's flawed, right? We literally prey the big capitalists prey on the lower band's downfall, and then wonder why we can't get better anywhere, right? And then I was saying, making to the point of that's how low America is, right? So now you think, I've always wondered, right? And we're going to kind of like get into like a dreamland scenario, right? So we always say that like America has this whatever $1 trillion debt, right? And this is me just kind of speaking because I don't know a lot of this shit, and hopefully, maybe our viewers or listeners, they'll be able to input along with yourself, right? So we have this $1 trillion debt. I hear that some of it is owed, like it's owed to like China and all these other countries and shit like that, right? We're not the best of friends with China, right? So, what happens if China decides to collect? We'll start there. China says, "Hey, we got to collect, right?" What does America do? And I ask this just because I don't know everything, and I'm trying to maybe hopefully like we can break down a bigger kind of picture on tonight's episode, and see where this kind of takes us. Because and maybe we might be able to unpack some things and really I don't know, maybe come up with a positive solution. So like let's say first and foremost, is it something that like China could be like, yeah, we need you to start paying up, like like what happens in our world, right? Do we start tariffing things higher or taxing things higher from them now? Do we start just making money again? Like I don't know. What is our first kind of like round of line of defense or anything like that? I don't know.
I don't know that we have one.
You know what I mean? So let's say that this they call this debt, and then Russia and China get like buddy. Like, do we realize? I was thinking about this also, like how big Russia is. Like, I don't think Americans. Like, I think Americans are so big headed. Like, we don't think about like we're so inflated in the head, right? We've got the biggest ego in the world, right? So like, Russia's huge. They have a lot of people that live. You know what I mean? And from what I heard, like from what I hear, there's like cities that we don't even know of, like in this, like, you know what I'm saying, in this country. Like when you get into like the meat and potatoes of like Russia, like I think a lot of people think like Russia is just like a nice chunk of like, you know what I mean? No, Russia's massive. So you take Russia and China, and they say, you know what, America, we're sick of your shit. We're collecting this debt. We're gonna stop producing all this shit. Like, I think America has spread themselves so thin that realistically we're effed. Like, think about it, and to the correlation of back to Russia being huge. I'm sure they have a lot more people than us. I'm sure their military is way bigger than ours. They're not dumb. Russia's very very intelligent. Are we so far gone as Americans, as a society, to believe that we're still the top dog? Like, what holds us as the top dog still, as a country?
Honestly, and it's something I think we're just now getting back, but it's respect.
But
I mean, here's the thing. If you asked most countries in Europe or Asia or Africa or the Middle East who you would prefer to, well, so most of the ones in the Middle East would probably say Russia. But I think by and large, most countries want the United States to be the top dog. Just in leadership. I mean, as far as what are we the top dog in? Nothing.
Now, is that based off of...
Even basketball, we lost our stranglehold on, and boxing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's Russians that the Chinese have basically taken over the UFC.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
A lot more Chinese fighters now. They just had the first Chinese champion in the women's division.
I know. I was actually rooting for that. We were saying that there was the China versus U.S. Unfortunately, right? But
you know what was crazy? This was really super crazy. On that fight card, this is interesting because the fight was in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Now they cheered for Rose Namajunas, who's a Croatian American immigrant, and they booed Chang Wai Li, the champion who is from China. And I got to tell you, she was really confused by that. She was very confused by the booing. She's like a really nice woman.
Yeah.
And the champion, and honestly, afterwards, she was like, I'm the champion. I don't know why they were like, what's that all about?
Why are you booing me?
So I was like, well, somebody should probably have told her they don't like the Chinese people in Florida. That's kind of a thing. But I thought this was interesting because obviously Trump embraces Russia.
Mm-hmm.
They were literally chanting Valentina Shevchenko's name when the Russian was fighting Jessica Andrade. I just thought that was funny that the people of Florida cheered for the Russian and booed the Chinese person. And again, if you heard leading up to the election, right, China wanted Biden and Russia wanted Trump. So it's again, I look at stuff like that and I'm just like, how stupid are we? Just as a culture that we're booing sports people based on what we think their government
wants, based off of our political beliefs. That's right? All we've started.
We got to stop that stuff. Like, when people say get the sports out of politics and they're like, LeBron James should shut his mouth. It's like, well, look,
I'm so sick of that.
You can't be pissed that Facebook is not allowing you to post the N-word, but you're, you know what I mean? Like, pick your battles about what you're upset about. Like, LeBron James has a platform. LeBron James should speak. LeBron James made a mistake tweeting about that police officer.
Yep. And he removed it. Like, I feel like a lot of things, like if somebody, and it goes both ways, if somebody tweets something and they remove it for a reason. Like,
right. Clearly, I don't support this tweet that I retweeted earlier.
Exactly.
In there. I've retweeted stuff and then later on found out, like, nah, that's not. And I'm like, whoop,
exactly.
Reverse that bad boy. I no longer want that messaging out there. But yeah, I think people got to cool it a little bit. Again, we were talking on Divided We Stand last night that there's a lot of people who I think voted Republican because they think liberals are mentally ill people. And you've heard that messaging a lot over the last 4 years. And I say all the time, if Donald Trump did have a skill, it's the man can message. He can drive a point home and have you repeating something that you might not even believe. But if he says it enough like it's fact, you start to really believe it. And I feel bad. I feel like I'm having these conversations with my friends all the time where I'm like, a few of my friends are off Facebook right now. And they're like, I'm not even watching the news. And I'm like, there's nothing happening.
Nothing really.
Literally nothing. Like, there's nothing too crazy going on. It's
literally, it's kind of back to normal. Like, people posting just regular funny stuff. I mean, you see.
Well, you say back to normal, but see, in 2016, 2015, 2014, when Obama was in office, and I was watching a lot of Fox News, it seemed like there was a lot of crisis going on all the time. So I could imagine how some Republicans may have felt under Trump, because again, the messaging you're getting is like it's a constant barrage and attack. The Democrats are making up all this new stuff, and I think during the Obama years it was a lot of the same stuff. Like Fox News is just making stuff up about Obama. Or, did you see how he made that soldier hold the umbrella over his head?
Yeah.
That's an honor for the soldier. That's what he's there for.
He's
like, the tan suit.
That was just a horrible wardrobe choice. Like, so what? So, and I hate that, right? So, like, even so, that it's to such a standard, right? Like, the soldier holding the umbrella, he wore a tan suit. So what? So if the president chose to come and wear a fucking teal suit, so what's wrong with a fashionable president? Not to say that was a fashionable choice, but like, I wouldn't be mad if I was about to say Biden. Jeez, me and my words today are just everywhere. But if Biden like came in with like a different kind of suit and it looked nice, or like he came in to like one of the press like, just because you have a suit, that doesn't, to me, right? Like, your suit, give me something different. Give me something different than just a pocket square. Like, give me an actual like tailor fit suit or something like that. Give me a nice like polo fit. I don't know. I don't know. Change it up. I dare a president to change it up.
Do you remember on September 12th when George W. Bush was in that meeting and he had his brown leather bomber jacket on and jeans and his hair was all askew, right? And he was like, we're going to find these guys. We're going to kick their asses. You're either with us or against us. I mean, it was like, and I heard people like, why would the president be dressed like that? Like a badass cowboy from Texas? Hell yeah.
What's wrong with that? Did you know he's... Oh, go ahead.
That's like the one time where I really wanted, like, stupid George Bush to be like, we are going to kick the shit out of you when we find you. Like, because I'll tell you what, and this is very underrated, but in during the 2012 Olympics, you might remember that Russia invaded Georgia, the country, not the state, for dummies that are watching. And George Bush was on with Bob Costas, like during an intermission from, I don't know, what's that when they use they push the with the broom. What's the game with the broom?
I was about to say cricket, not cricket.
Totally white person sport. So if you don't,
I actually love watching it during Winter Olympics.
Oh God, I almost had it. It's like shuffleboard.
It's right there. It's literally right there.
Come on, who knows the answer to this? Somebody in the comments.
Somebody's gonna know.
Curling, there you go.
Curling, there we go. Curling, there we go.
So it's like halftime of the curling game or whatever. and Bob Costas is with George Bush, and Russia has invaded Georgia, the country. And George Bush just looks into the camera, and he's like, well, I'm going to give Mr. Putin a call later today. I'm going to tell him he's got to get there out of Georgia. And the next day, they pulled out of Georgia. And the war was over. And I thought, shit, dude, like, that was badass George Bush. Like, if you don't get your ass out of Georgia, I'm going to take it out.
Like, imagine that. Like, imagine if just the way George Bush, side note, who apparently has become quite the painter. Like, he's sealed his legacy. Like, those paintings are going to be worth, I don't know how, like, millions, right? But anyways, like, imagine if America was open-minded enough. Think about how, like, scary white Americans get when they see a black person with a do-rag and, like, a hoodie walking around. Trayvon Martin. Imagine if, like, some shit was going on at, like, 8 p.m. and, like, it cut to Obama and he just got out of bed and, like, got to the press conference and was like, yeah, what the fuck is going on? And he has his do-rag on from, just laying his hair down. And he maybe was outside smoking his butt, as Joe would say. You know what I'm saying? He comes down in his hoodie. You know what I mean? In his Nike hoodie. You don't think they wouldn't take him serious? Like, oh, man, he looks scary. Oh, he got the do-rag on. Oh, this is do-rag Obama. Just like, oh, that's Texas cowboy Bush. Yeah, we're going to take him a little serious, right? So, like... Yeah, I'm like, imagine if Biden. What would Biden look like? What would Biden's serious outfit be if we were to kind of like?
Oh, I've seen his tough guy outfit. It's,
definitely aviators.
Yeah, he's rocking the aviators. He's wearing jeans that are definitely too tight and not in style. and more than
leather jacket.
Yeah.
Okay.
And more than likely, he refers to those jeans as his dungarees.
Dungarees.
Yeah.
Are they the blue? Are they a dark blue? Or are they like the light blue wash, like the Wrangler?
Let me ask you a question. Which one is currently out of style? Because it's that.
I don't know.
Are jeans dark again? Because if so, these are whitewash. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. Jeans have been dark. Maybe, yeah, definitely. Jared said maybe a wide open button up. There we go.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's definitely, I've seen him. Yeah, I saw a really great piece that he did. He actually came out and it's like in January, maybe February. Let's say maybe mid-February. He came out to talk to the media and he was walking the dogs. And throwing a ball to the dogs. He was talking to a reporter, and he had just gotten a cup of coffee.
Gotcha.
The reporter, and again, when people are like, well, why is the media so nice to Biden? Well, so Joe Biden's talking to the media, and one of the reporters joked, did you bring coffee for everybody? And he said, no. And he looked at her and said, are you cold? And she said, yeah. And he said, you know what? I haven't even taken a sip of it yet. Do you want it?
That's why I'm not killing him.
Right. Again, it's like,
and not killing him in a bad way.
We didn't vote for Joe Biden because he's a hero or because the Democrats are superior. That's a debate we could certainly have, but it's not why we did it. We did it for this. We did it for sanity's sake. This is nice. It's nice to wake up and not have agita about what's going on with the president or what kind of who he's attacking today, because that stuff got old quick, man. And I'll tell you, I when it comes to Biden, I don't like that he's refusing to say crisis for what's happening at the border. I mean, you're just being like defiant for no reason. I don't think there's a need for it, right? I mean, they're addressing the issue, so it's still a crisis because a crisis needs a solution.
Sure, exactly.
So until you've solved it, it's a crisis. Okay, great. I mean, to play word games with the media after the last 4 years, again, I'm not interested in that. I want just spit straight truth to me. Okay.
Facts.
I was on with Carlos on Speaking It Real, and he wanted to pick apart some of the State of the Union address. And, some of his stuff was like, really nitpicky, like, they should just give vouchers to parents for school. I'm like, if that's what you're nitpicking about, you have to admit, things are probably all right? Like, things aren't so bad. It seems like trending in the right direction. I've heard from a lot of people that are like, I don't know, man. I don't know, something's brewing. And it's like, no, you were used to there being chaos every single day.
Exactly. And that's what they seem like they want. Like you said the other day, you're like, they want peace, but not really. They want to scream for peace, but they don't want to give the peace.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're so used to chaos and they want it. Like that's what energized them. That's what thrived them. So now they don't have that energy and nobody that wants to actually like fight with somebody. So you're just like, all right, cool. Like it is what it is.
Yeah, but again, it's sad, Rob, because it seems to me like they're brewing for a fight still. Mm-hmm. Like it's still the us versus them mentality. And I don't like that at all.
Not
because at all. We did the show Divided We Stand last night, and there's a reason why that's the name of that show. We still haven't solved the problem of how does this country, there's a very sharp divide right and left. And it takes about 2 seconds on any issue to figure out where somebody falls.
I think right now, everybody is kind of getting into that cooling off period. We're all kind of just, especially on the left side, right? Centralized and left. These guys are, we're just kind of like decompressing and letting this stuff go, right? If the other side is willing to meet, or in the middle, and actually be calm about shit, we might actually get somewhere. So I hope you guys are enjoying the high gas prices. A 14-year-old from Trinity School. Jeez, like first and foremost, these aren't high gas prices. If anybody wants to talk about high gas prices, let's talk about it when it was $4 a gallon, right? These gas prices are actually just aligned with the same gas prices pre-COVID. So let's not start getting into an uproar. This happens all the time. And it goes to the fact and how you were saying with how you had the conversation with Carlos and we were talking about media, right? As we were talking about media yesterday on Divided We Stand, that where's the accountability with media and nowadays, right? So I remember growing up and just learning about media and news that you had pretty much the fact base, which should have been the most the headlines and stuff like that, all fact based, and then you had your opinionated pieces, right? It seemed like now the opinionated pieces are leading instead of the fact based things, right? And also, and going into the point with the with these media outlets, I had posed a question last night. How do we get them accountable? How do we hold them accountable? I remember Jared actually said last night we stopped watching or stopped supporting, but then I think we would actually lose all of these. A lot of these news. From Fox to CNN, MSNBC. Of course, some of them are a little bit better than others, but all in all, they all have a hidden agenda behind them, and it's all pretty much been known, right? We kind of see through the facade. Question to you, and even also to the audience, what news sources do you guys consider or would consider legit? And when I say legit, like they're pretty credible, not necessarily swaying on either side. You know what I'm saying? But even if they are, or swaying either side, are they still fact based? Are they still credible? What sources do you guys use? And then I'll go through kind of like my routine of how I get my news.
You know where I find most of my news information? I get it on Twitter. I
Okay.
try, I see what's trending, and again, typically if it's hey, Matt Gaetz said this or AOC said that, Jared, I don't know why that's a joke. Come on.
Either way, if it's a joke or if it's true, that's hilarious. Because if you're using this podcast to get your news, I'm sorry, you chose the wrong podcast.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think this is a good place to get the news because I think if we're talking about it, it's important and it's something that
Very true.
You should be aware of, and I think shows like this are important because you know what? We're just two regular guys.
Gotcha.
We're not the Cuomos. We're just regular people who have an opinion about what's happening in the world, and I think that's important because there's more of us than there are of them.
Very true, and I think that's the point I was trying to get to is that we're a very opinionated piece, or opinionated source. But if you're using us as your sole source as a fact base, even though I love citing my sources, and if you ever question where I get my sources, I leave them in the script all the time. I would love to like challenge you anytime, right? But anyways, if anybody likes a challenge, because apparently we've been getting challenged a lot in YouTube, so I'm looking on the YouTube today to make sure it stays good. I'm on there with Sketchy Peasant, making sure we're live. But anyways,
so again, when I say Twitter, I mean when something is trending, I mean I'm gonna go and I'm gonna actually watch what the person said. I'm gonna watch that interview. I'm gonna watch that speech, and I'm gonna hear what they said, and then I'll judge for myself what actually happened and what they actually said.
Gotcha.
So when I say that, that's really all I mean is to me it's easy to hear what Ben Shapiro has to say about what AOC said in a speech, or what Rachel Maddow thinks that Matt Gaetz meant in the speech he gave today, and it's like, I'll just watch the speech and I'll figure out what they're saying, and I'll decide whether they meant this or that, or if they're sorry or not. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that's what I'm talking about. Because as far as the doing your own research, I don't even know what the hell that means. Because Kimberly Chapman from Wake Up with KC, God love her, she says don't trust anyone. And then I think talked about getting info on Bing. So settle down, Kimberly. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's hilarious. Oh,
what is your scientific method for research? Well, I read the left, I read the right, and then I decide the truth is somewhere in the middle. Well,
where exactly?
Where in the middle is it? And how do you know? How we're like, what are you? You're looking for what? The few similarities in the news presentation? I just that I don't buy.
It gets dangerous with do your own research, right? Because if you're just continuously going to the dumbest places or the wrong sources, you get stuck in a wrong rabbit hole. Sketchy Peasant says, I get most of my news from the guy who works at my local bodega, Status Quo, and all podcasts from Clovercrest Media. See, now, I can agree with two of those.
Listen, if the guy at the local bodega knows what the news is, it's important.
It's super important.
Right?
But they always know the local news or some, whether it's local or like important shit. They always leave with that. Hey, papi, what you think about this? What you think about that? Trumpito, he's stupid, right? Yeah, I'm with you, papi. That's it, right? Isn't it? Jared says, isn't it easier to let other people take it out of context and watch it later? Yeah. A lot easier.
Again, that's why I go on Twitter. I'm like, what is America overreacting about today?
Now.
and then I go on it and again, it's always like, well, I'll tell you what he said today, and then someone's like, I'm going to tell you what he said today, and then you actually just watch what they said, and again, that's how you should be able to figure out what's going on. It's really, to me, it's not difficult. It really isn't. It's, the information is out there for you if you want it. And I think that's probably a bigger issue at this point is And I've been hearing this for like at least a dozen years. So I think this totally predates Trump. This I live in America. I can believe what I want. And it's like, well, you're an idiot because you're not believing reality. You're believing I can believe whatever I want. What is the logic in that? I don't even like. What do you mean by that?
It's American way, the American logic, the same logic that has America thinking that Cinco de Mayo, which happy Cinco de Mayo to all our Mexican listeners or people of Mexican descent that have that think Cinco de Mayo is like a Mexican Independence Day, which it's definitely not. But anyways, pundits, I assume some.
Can I just say something? I want to point something out because somebody recently accused me of being newly woke.
Okay.
And I was like, that isn't true. And I actually found a post from 2013 in my memories today. And again, I was still voting very Republican at that point, but I put up a post on this day in 2013, and I reminded people this is not Mexico's July 4th. Only Puebla is the only state in Mexico that celebrates it. Their actual Day of Independence is in September. And yes, it's this shouldn't be an excuse to wear a sombrero and drink tacos. Exactly. I mean, without being woke, I always felt like that's kind of shitty that, I feel the same way about St. Patrick's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Kiss me, I'm a drunken Irish loser. That's the stereotype we're celebrating is that Irish people are drunks. And that we celebrate their special saint by getting pissed drunk and puking on each other.
Why do we love doing that? Like embracing stereotypes as like Americans.
Don't know. I really don't get it. It's lazy.
Like I would probably feel super offended if somebody was like happy, you know what I mean? If like businesses and stuff were like Happy Black History Month, chicken and waffles for everybody. And you know what I mean? We got chicken and waffle deals and, and watermelon Saturdays. You know what I mean? Like, I would be like, yo, what the hell is wrong with y'all?
Do you remember, like, 15 years ago, the mayor of East Haven, Connecticut, the police were in trouble for racially profiling Hispanics in town, and they asked him what he was going to do to help the Hispanic people of East Haven, and his response was, I'm going to go home tonight and eat tacos.
Fucking idiot. Like, are you kidding me?
Like, dude, really? That's the best you got, huh?
Like, that it's, and that's like, and I hate the way that America has Americanized, like, cultured food. Like, because American, like, what is it, Tex-Mex or Mexican-American food? It's trash. When you go to Mexico and have some real authentic Mexican food, that's fucking amazing. Cinco de Mayo is an annual celebration held on May 5th. The date is observed to commemorate the Mexican Army's victory. Yo, Frank, you're late to the party. Like, come on, man. You're late to the party. Fucking, what? Joe just said all this.
Yeah. Also, Frank,
get the car wash wax out your ear.
Way to copy and paste that from where you copied and pasted that from.
Didn't even cite your source. See, you're just like the damn Speaking of Real Boys every Friday night. They always I get all my news from the car wash. Exactly. Well, we need you to get that car wash wax out your ear. Are you two eating Mexican or Caucasian food for Cinco de Mayo? Donald Trump tweeted himself a taco bowl saying he loves Hispanics. USA #1. Like, the fact that he had to put USA #1 at the end of that, that's leading into a perfect point of discussion that I wanted to talk about, right? The sarcasm of, like, old white men. It's so aggravating and it's so annoying. Like, and when I say the sarcasm of old white men like that, right, with Trump, right? Oh, I love Hispanics. USA #1. Like, they have such a way of just being a dickhead. And I say this, right? So I'm at work, and this goes into another topic that we were talking about yesterday. Dirty ass people of not my skin tone, right? So here we are. This dirty ass Caucasian male I noticed he was, well, I heard him and smelt him in the bathroom as I was using the urinal. He was sitting down squatting, so you guys can assume what he was doing, right? So he was done. I was washing my hands, and I'm like, all right, this nasty dude, you know what I mean, he's about to come wash his hands, right? What does he do? He goes right out the door. Right out the door, right? So fast forward, maybe about 30 minutes later, I see this guy and this dirty, nasty man, this dirty jar of mayonnaise. He has like 2 shirts in his hand, and then I guess he decided he didn't want to wait in line, so he just let him, like, he tried to hang him in the like weakest attempt of like hanging him on like a rack, and then just let him fall to the floor. Notice they fell on the floor and walked away. So you know me. Excuse me, sir. You dropped those shirts. I don't want them anyways. Maybe you might want them. They look like your kind of style. Yo, Joe. I was like, I kind of like this job. I'm just gonna like relax. Like, but I wanted to be like, yeah, what the fuck do you mean you my kind of style? Actually, that shit's fucking old, outdated, and it doesn't even fucking look like it doesn't even look like shit. It just looks like something that you would golf in. Like, you fucking like, and that's why I was like, you just had to say some dumb shit. Like, you just wanted to be sarcastic and just be a smart ass, because that doesn't look like anything I would wear. Nobody my age would wear.
Yeah. Can I tell you something? As a guy who's getting closer and closer to being an old white man, I'm going to be 46 in June. And while I look like I could be Cuban or from the Middle East, I am a white person. And I remember right around the year 2000, Rob, my 2 favorite words were fag and my second one was retard.
Gotcha.
Those were the words I basically applied to everybody in every situation, right? And again, not with any hate in my heart for gay people.
It was just a term that you just used.
Just what we called each other. It wasn't
ignorant. We were ignorant at the time.
And then right around 2000, people were like, you can't say that anymore. And I was like, why? And they were like, it's insensitive. It hurts other people's feelings when you say stuff like that. And I was like, oh. Yeah, all right. Then I won't do it.
Simple as that.
It was, I mean, honestly, dude, it was if you could have heard me, honestly, if you could have heard me in the year 2000, everything was gay. Like, oh, dude, that is so gay. And they were like, no, you can't say that. That's like using the word as a negative. And I just stopped saying it. I just figured out different ways to say things that were not insensitive. And my point is, I guess I don't understand the old white people who are like, well, why can't I say the N-word anymore? If we have to explain to you why,
yeah.
That's the problem, isn't it? Like, no, we don't call Indians engines anymore. And we don't call Chinese people, what do they used to call them? Reds, I think?
Reds or
Indians, am I wrong?
Slant eyes or anything. And we're not offending anybody. We're just using this in context. Yeah, we love everybody.
We're just, again, we're citing what ignorance brought, you know? Mm-hmm. And again, you saw some of that in some of that Dr. Seuss stuff. And people are like, well, I want to be able to read that. You don't read books. Yeah. Cut the shit. You don't read books.
Never read the book a day in their life.
You don't, yeah.
They're like,
okay, dude. That whole thing, the books they were talking about, none of any of those people had ever read them. You don't even know those books. Those are the shittiest Dr. Seuss books in the whole collection.
The fact that they had the Amazon search it, because I know I had to, because I didn't even know. Hey, mama, I got a podcast. Everybody say what's up to my mama. She bought me 2 shirts. They hanging on my wardrobe. Oh, I got 2 shirts. All right. Matter of fact, I got Mother's Day is coming around the corner, y'all. I hope what's everybody doing for Mother's Day? I'll say that because I was super proud. I found my mom a pair of slides that she wanted. So like I'm brokety broke, but I was able to like find these slides and like afford them. So I was like, yeah, this is a win. So I screenshotted them. I screenshotted them and sent them to her, so she found out early. Because I can never, like, I'm one of those people, I can't hold, like, water when it comes to gifts. Like, if I get somebody a gift, one, like, I'm super proud of it because I actually, like, if I got you a gift, that means I chose you over me spending money on myself or something else, right? So, but my mother will ever get anything, like, I'm one of those dudes that, like, when I'm not gonna say if, like, when I'll Piss You Off Shortly blows up and, like, CMG blows, like, goes to the moon, right? I'm that person. Like, my mom's getting, like, her house first. Like, I'm definitely that dude, right? Like, yeah, definitely, like, type, right? But anyways, so I was super proud. So she got her gift going on. So look at it's Mother's Day and she's getting me 2 shirts. So I'm happy. Like, so everybody, I hope you have a I hope you guys have a good relationship with your mother.
This is amazing. My mom is also watching tonight.
Look at this! Shout out to the moms.
My mom didn't get me anything, and the message that she shared was just simply, she's watching the Yankees game and just wanted me to know that they're all tied up at 3 in the 6th inning.
Look at Mom. That. See, I love that our moms are on here supporting us. No, you see, I couldn't care for anything else. Moms are up here. That's amazing. So happy Mother's Day to all of our moms, to your mom, my mom, all the moms out here. Make sure you guys are wishing your moms, your wives, and all that stuff happy Mother's Day. This comes Sunday, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, this coming Sunday.
What? Real quick, I want to tell a quick my mom
of course
story. And this is a really cool story. I don't know if I might have told you this one, but if I have, don't stop me.
Not at all.
My very first radio on-air shift at the legendary radio station KC 101. I was moments away from turning the mic on and doing my first live DJ show. The transmitter went down. And all the lights in the room were flashing like big emergency. And I was like, I'm new. I don't even know what I'm doing. And there was a thing on the wall. And it was like, if this is flashing, do this. If this is, and everything was flashing. So I'm just pressing all the buttons. And the radio station came back. I had turned the backup transmitter on.
Nice.
And I didn't even know what I was doing. I was reading a chart that just said in emergency, break glass. And I did it. And the engineer called and he was like, hey, did you turn the backup on? I was like, yeah. He was like, how the hell did you do that? I said, I read your little flow chart. It was perfect. But there was an alarm going off in the studio, including in the headphones. So I couldn't wear my headphones and turn my mic on and talk because it was the ringing in the ears. So I asked him, how do I turn it off? He said he had to do it. I asked him what time he'd be coming in. It was 5 minutes after midnight. He said, I'll be there by 5:30.
Oh, jeez. It's 5:30. Oh, God.
I said, well, what am I going to do all night? He said, well, you're not going to be able to go on air. You're just going to have to play music all night.
Huh.
Crushed.
There you go.
My
DJ'd up.
All done. I'm just going to be spinning. No talking. So I called my mom. I was very upset by this development. And it's 1998.
Okay.
My mom is on a cordless phone, and she's listening to KC 101 on a Sony boombox.
Okay, and I'm following you.
I'm telling her, I'm like, I can't hear anything, so I can't turn the mic on. I wouldn't know what was playing. And as we're talking, I hear the radio in the background. And I was like, hey, grab your boombox and bring it over to the cordless phone. And there was no delay on the radio station, and my mom stayed on the phone with me all night. I did my first air shift with the phone receiver as my headphone.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, here's the cool. I mean, when my boss found out I did this, he thought, like, wow, this guy's not an idiot.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The reason he thought that was a month earlier, I had driven the KC 101 vehicle into a parking garage.
Jeez. Yo, you and cars are not good.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no. You know how many car accidents I've had? We could do an entire show where I just tell car accident stories. That's how many I've had.
Jeez.
And I never got hurt in any of them. It's amazing. But my cars always get totaled.
Jeez. I know your insurance is high.
Oh, yeah. It's funny. At one point last year, we had to get a new insurance company. And they sent the policy in the mail, and then 2 days later, they canceled.
Oh, shit. So you want to hear something funny? So my brother, my older brother, he he got his first car or whatever, and then he had to get like his own insurance and stuff like that. Right? I don't even think was I might have been like just 18 or something like that, or like 16. Anyways, their policy. So you know how like they ask you like who lives in the house, this, that, and the third. Before they even got to my name, they said, "Yep, everybody's clear. We're not even going to ask you about Robert Dunlap. He cannot drive your vehicle." And I was like, "I didn't even do anything. I'm younger than him. How did I do it? Like, what did I do?" Now there was a time where I stole his car late at night. And maybe one day I can get him to tell his side of the story. Maybe he might be listening. I know he's going to hear it later. But I stole his car one night to go to Wendy's. This is when we were living in Middletown. And Wendy's was like right on the outskirts of like Cromwell Middletown line. I was hungry as hell. I had to have been like 16, maybe 17. It was like I'm going to say my senior year. So I was like 18, maybe like 18. Anyway, so senior year, stole his car. I swore I parked it back like the right way. He claims that like I didn't park it the right way, and that's how he found out. Like because he had like this one little spot in our driveway that he always parked. So apparently I didn't park it back the correct way. It was like all messed up. So then he snitched on me and told my mom, and I got in big trouble. But anyways, back to the story of. So when he got his insurance, and even so to this day, we were joking about, we were talking about it. It was like last year, and he was like, "Yo, you know that still like you can't drive like on my insurance. You can never be." I was like, "I don't know what I did. I never got into like an accident in your car or anything like that." But yeah, so
I had my first accident 6 months after I got my license, and my next accident was a month after that.
when did I get my first accident?
Yeah. Oh, dude, I probably, let me say, if I had to guess, I probably had 12 car accidents at least.
I remember mine. My first car accident was it was the first like it was no, it was either 2007. Yeah, it had to have been winter storm 2007. It was Valentine's Day. Big old winter storm because I was working at Verizon right before I went to the military. I was working at Verizon Wireless in North Haven, and I was driving home from Verizon Middletown. Winter storm. I had a Nissan Sentra, and this big black truck. It was like a Ford F-150, plowing. So like it made my little tan Nissan Sentra smack the the median, fuck that whole car up. So I want to say that was probably what, yeah, maybe February, October. Shit, yeah. Not even less than 6 months from when I got the car to what I got. So yeah, 3 months, something like that, 3-4 months. So I got you beat, yeah.
Nice.
But that not on the first accident. After that, I haven't. I can't even say I haven't because I totaled the Danielle's Honda, and that wasn't even on purpose. That was by accident. Like so, bet. Here we are, right? Here's this little story before we move on to the next one. I'm in the what was it? CRV. She had a CRV. The curb, the little parking lot curb. You know how like they have just a little block when you get into the parking spot, it has that little block or whatever. I pulled up, and it like hit. I guess there's like this little pin or this little rod or whatever that if it pierces it or gets hit, that's what deploys the fucking airbags. So like her suspension was ass in the car, so it was like low enough and this thing was like high enough. So like I literally like I didn't put it, I thought I put it in reverse, but I put it in drive. But I caught it, like I pressed the gas and I caught it, but it just like it jerked just enough to fucking hit it, and it punctured and it made the airbags go off. No true damage to the car, it just punctured that one rod that's like a safety thing. And they're like, yeah, that's probably like a 1 in a million chance, but we see why it happened. So I've totaled 2 cars. Damn, I don't know. Do I have you beat on that now too? My 2 accidents, like that's it.
I've totaled 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars.
Jeez. Okay.
Actually 6, but that one I hit with a golf cart.
What? Oh man, we're gonna have to have a whole episode of like Joe's.
Dude,
Yeah.
because
That's
and every
hilarious.
one of them are like they're my fault, but they're not.
Got you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
when I totaled the dude's car with a golf cart, that will be the story everyone's gonna want to catch because it was something special.
something special. Jared goes, I rode a car 2.5 times and landed upside down with the back seat on top of me. When I opened my eyes, my face was against the interior light and I thought it was all over. Jeez. That's tough. Man, I'm glad you made it out of that one. Let's see. Frank says trees would just magically jump in front of me. I believe it. You know, like I believe that Frank's probably like got like outside of that. How many accidents have you gotten into at the car wash, Frank? Like I feel like you probably like have like taken a couple of, like the spinny like brush pads. He's probably taken a couple of those out.
You gotta figure that.
Gotta figure. I don't know. So talking about Case, going into our first sponsorship, or not sponsorship, but yeah, let's pay some bills with good old Sticky Beaks. And when I say that, man, if you haven't heard I can't speak today, man.
You can't sticky beak.
Yeah, I can't sticky beak, right? So go ahead, make sure you guys. Well, yeah, I'll just play this and then I'll tell a little backstory to it. We'll play this.
Clovercrest Media Group is proud to present Season 2 of Sticky Beak.
He threatened to kill her, you know. He said it out loud. He said, I will kill you. She did not believe him.
I think the circumstances were dubious about her disappearance because she had run away several times prior.
She told me he hasn't told a soul. The man driving the car, whoever he was, nobody's ever said a peep. It was never talked about again, even between the two of them. And I'm not sure those two even saw each other after this.
In a no-body case, you generally need time and seclusion to dispose of the body.
She told me that he's been lying. He lied about this whole thing.
In his own mind, he probably does love her in a way we would consider particularly sick or twisted, but I think in his own mind, he does love her.
She felt like she was climbing the walls, which isn't a phrase that a kid would use, but that's what she's telling me. Like, she felt like she was almost trapped. She said she was trying to look for a way out.
I won't go into detail, but I would say you're hot.
Subscribe to Sticky Beak wherever you listen to podcasts.
So yes, make sure you guys go subscribe to Sticky Beaks. This is like, I'm all for like a good murder mystery. But when we were sitting here, and for anybody that doesn't know, Sticky Beaks is hosted and ran by Joe's wife. And so like when we were sitting here talking about it, I remember listening to the first 2 episodes and I was like, okay, this is cool, this is interesting, but I wasn't like indulgent to it, right? But when I was listening to her just talk and just say the whole, when Jess was just saying everything, I was like, holy shit. Like, this is a story that, like, I'm surprised has not made the news, like, crazier. And then, like, it just, when I started thinking even deeper, like, New England is just a threshold of just murder. Like, between Connecticut, Mass, if you want to throw New England into, I mean, if you want to throw New York into it, like, in the mix, like, we're a threshold of just, like, murder mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, if you want to get caught up on it, no other place than, like, Clovercrest Media. So, we have it all.
And just so people know, because a lot of people have been asking about the new season of Sticky Beak. The first episode is currently in post-production. So we should have a release date announced in the next couple of days, and then episodes will start being released. But it's good stuff, and we're making progress with the Coppers.
Nice.
Your buddies, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah. Your buddies and my buddy, yeah, from the PD over there. So we're trying to work it out. They're getting better. They're coming around. They're looking. I think if we solved it, they'll talk to us.
Well, yeah, of course. They want to add it to their books at that point.
There was a time where I felt when the people were like, if President Trump cured cancer, like if we would have been like, here's what happened. There was a point where the PD would have been like, nah, we're good. So we're at least back to talking. So that's good. That feels good. Yeah,
that's a good positive thing, right? Well, since we're talking about talking and getting on a positive note, with relate and having relationships with people, right? I kind of wanted to, and this is going to be our last topic of the day. So I'm sorry if you guys were expecting a heavy political or whatever, just enthralled and thrived episode. Definitely not going to be a two-hour one. It's not going to be. It's just been chill today. I really wanted to make sure today was just chill. And this is kind of getting into why I wanted to be chill and just kind of why we were freestyling. The episode is called Freestyling today, right? Since we're talking about communications and relationships, I just wanted to, man. First and foremost, I guess I wanted to start with and say relationships, right? And when I say relationships, I'm not just talking of intimate relationships or boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. I'm talking, between friendships, work relationships, personal relationships in that aspect. If you want to, you know what I'm saying? However you want to put it, exactly, relationship-ish, right? How do you know when the well has ran dry in any relationship? And when I say the well has ran dry, you're just not getting what you need out of somebody anymore, within that relationship, because all relationships have you're fulfilling a need, right? Either side, right? If I'm on the wrong track, somebody in the comments, of course, let us know, and we'll discuss it, right? And please, please get in the comments in this, everybody in the comments, please, engage with this one, right? So when do we know that a relationship has ran dry, and how do we either fill that relationship back up, or fulfill it back up with whatever we feel that we need? Is there a way to redig another trench to fill it back up? Maybe we've that access of emotions and whatever involvement has ran dry. Is there a way to fulfill it from somewhere else? I don't know, or is it just when do you know, just to kind of cut your ties and say, well, this is done, and kind of progress and move forward, right?
Yeah, I think when you don't feel like you're giving or getting from the other person, I think that's probably the best way to know. I mean, I was married to a lunatic for almost 8 years, and the first 18 months were great. The rest of it sucked. And I always thought all right, yeah, maybe we'll figure this out and get it back. And that was never going to happen. That was a horrible idea. So that's tough to say. 50-50 relationships don't work. Great relationships are 100%. Cultivate those relationships. Yeah, you don't say.
So there we go. Okay. When you know, a lot of times we're just not prepared to go our separate ways. I feel that's very, very true. In a lot of different ways, right? Sketchy Peasant, I know this is going to be comical. When the well runs dry, you receive a restraining order from the other party indicating you cannot be within 250 feet of them and cannot contact them via phone or online social media. I
mean, that's when you really know, because your lawyer explained it to you in detail. Yes.
That's hilarious.
Sketchy. He is something else.
Oh, good one, Sketchy.
That was wonderful. But yeah, right. I mean, you don't quite need a restraining order. I think, like Devon had said, when you know. And it's funny. I had a buddy. Jared just wrote sirens. That's how you know. I think you wanna. Because look, if it's not going well and it's going to eventually end, I think it's you want to pick how the end goes.
Exactly.
The chances of you ending it amicably depend on how soon you pull the plug. Because if you don't pull the plug until it's totally frail, I mean, you're going to cause a big fire.
Big fire.
Yeah, that's no good. You never want something like that. So, yeah, I mean, but I find too, I remember some years ago, this buddy of mine, he was a good-looking kid, skinny dude too. And he was dating this chick who was just a fucking mess. Big gal, way bigger than him, too. And I was like, dude, what's going on here? And his thing was he was just super shy. And this is the only girl who was like, hey, I'll be your girl. And I was like, bro, you got to break up with her. There was some chickie that was all digging on him at work. And I was like, you guys should hook up. She's cute. And so he breaks up with his girlfriend. Him and the cute girl she friend zones him hardcore. Like the first time they hang out, she's like, you're my best friend and nothing more than that. I love you like a brother. And so within a couple of days, dude, he's back to dating the other gal. And I was like, dude, I thought we talked about this, right?
Because it was easy to go back to.
Not only was she a disaster, in appearance, but her personality was none better. She was rude and bossy and he could do way better. But you know what it came down to, Rob? She was better than nothing.
Exactly.
I would rather have her girlfriend than to be alone. That was basically his thing. And I was like, but she treats you poorly and she's ugly. What are you getting out of this? I don't have to spend Friday nights alone anymore. All right. Well, what are you going to do?
But maybe that makes him happy, right? But then I'm just like, and kind of I was thinking about that. Well, one of these ideas that came through my mind. Oh, when fear overtakes hope for you as the driving force in the relationship.
I like that.
When fear overtakes
you're afraid
hope
that they're going to leave, and that's what's driving you more than the hope that things get. I mean, again, I could tell you, for years while I was with my first wife, I remember thinking, this can't get much fucking worse, can it? Seriously.
And it literally can.
And then it did.
Yep.
It totally did. And the best thing I ever did in the whole world was I hired my lawyer. And I'll never forget the look on her face the day she got served the papers. And she actually said to me, how could you do this to me? And I was like, are you a fucking how could I do this to you? Are you out of your fucking mind? I should have done this 5 years ago. How could you possibly be surprised by that? And she was like, you lied to me. And I was like, you've been lying to me for 6 years.
You're the one that's been lying.
I told one lie and you're pissed. And I want to divorce you. I think that's what you want. No? What the fuck?
And I never understood that, especially back in the day, how, divorce was just, the biggest no-no. Right, and you hear a lot of times, especially on my side of the culture, I'll sit there and say, right, on my side of the spectrum, you can't divorce. You gotta stay with your significant other, and then they always relate it to your grandparents. Your grandmother and grandfather stayed together and stuck it out. This, that, and the third. No, why should they have had to endure that kind of trauma? No, I don't why would I want to maybe 25 years is too much. Yeah. Maybe after 25 years, it might be time to go separate ways, right? And I love how, because I was talking to some of the millennials at work, right? And just because we're having one of the good break room conversations, and they were like, Rob, you've been married twice? And I said, yo, being married 2 times comes faster than you think, right? Think about how many relationships you date, right? A marriage is only nothing but a contract, right? It is a contract of, in the grand scheme of things, not to say that marriage can't be based off of love, but you're dating somebody, right? Right before you and your wife were together, y'all were dating. You were exclusively dating. It was you guys still loved each other. You guys this, that, and third. Then you guys got married, right? That was to, and that was to bring, to, I guess, excel your love for each other, right? And then you have the government side of the things, which is the legal contract and, signing all that shit, right? Now, could you still love your wife the same without the paperwork?
Yeah. Listen, I got married in the church the first time. Mm-hmm. And the second time I didn't. Because, at the end of the day, she's a lawyer. We understand that it's a business contract. Mm-hmm. We get to file our taxes and buy shit together and get each other's insurance. It's a good deal.
Bet.
That's really, I mean, that's all it is. You know, I think the important thing in a relationship is it's got to be somebody that you like and respect.
There you go.
My wife, I know, thinks I'm obnoxious and loud. I never put my socks in the hamper, always on top of them, or on the floor right next to the hamper. Sometimes my socks are even wedged into the couch. Yeah,
Same.
That happens.
Yep. Oh yeah, my socks are everywhere. Yeah.
She hates that. My wife thanks me all the time for working hard, but she tells me I don't do enough housework. And you know, it's COVID, and you know, it's everybody gets a little verklempt. You know, it's I think if everybody's learned something in this quarantine, it's that your house isn't as big as you thought it was.
Yes, and now everybody's trying to go buy more house. Everybody's trying to
get 5 minutes alone. But I know, you know, I told my wife the other day, I'm like, is there some way we can resolve this? You don't think I do enough housework thing where I don't do more because I'm not going to.
Yeah.
My cleaning abilities are what they are. You know, I'm never just going to start dusting the chandelier. You're going to have to be like, hello, take a look, buddy. Do you see the cobwebs?
And after how long do you feel like it takes for somebody to just be like, you know, he's never going to really change. I just know I'm going to have to sit there and say, hey, can you change, you know, get the cobwebs?
Right. So here's what happens. It's one of two things. Either she comes to realize that you're just not a person that is going to clean stuff.
To get the cobwebs, yep. Joe, put down the White Claws and pick up the pies. So the house is going to clean itself.
Ain't that the truth? Oh,
see, I agree with that. Put the cobwebs in your calendar.
You know, here's what I tell my wife.
Send me a link our calendar and whatever you want me to do. Make it easier for yourself so you're not mad at me because I'm going to be me, right?
I tell my wife all the time, I'm like, because my wife, now here's another thing that she doesn't like, right? She'll be like, all right, clean the cobwebs. And apparently, I'm like, yeah, fine. And I do it. And now that's a problem. I'm like, wait a minute. So I do what you say, and I do it now in a timely manner so you don't nag about it for 6 weeks. But now I also have to take the order like gleefully. I would love to do the cobwebs. Thanks for thinking of me. Like,
thanks for volunteering my services.
I don't want to have a good attitude about it. I don't think I should have to do that.
See, you know what? Like what I don't like, oh, here we go. Y'all be lying. Nick don't pay the calendar anymore. Just ignores the notifications. Hey, at least, it's a solid attempt, right? But no, so like my thing is, I guess my pet peeve when it comes to like those things, right, is like, for me, I have to, if I do it, like first and foremost, like there's things like, if I grew up like, okay, you did it. Like I remember like even growing up, like, hey mom, I did this. Okay, good. You did what you're supposed to do, right? Like, you cleaned the bathroom. Good. That was your chore, right? Joe, you're supposed to do the cobwebs like your wife would. So here we go, right? So now I'm supposed to, like, tally up. That I've never been, like, a person of, like, that always had to, hey, I did this, or did you see I noticed I did that? Like, okay, cool, thank you. Like, do you want a pat on your back? So now I realize with mine, I have to, hey, I did this. I have to point out everything I've did just to even like get some acknowledgement whenever like it seems like I've taken 50 steps back and they've just forgotten all the other beautiful things that you've taken care of. Tell her how much you appreciate all the things she does. Put extra emphasis on the things you don't want to do. You're welcome. But
that's good, Jared.
That is good. I don't know about if I want to like just keep telling like that's another thing like how you. I feel like I'm of the belief if I have to continuously sit there and say like show you my appreciation, like I appreciate like when does it become like sarcastic? You know what I'm saying? Like in the military, for example, right? Like everybody hates the word Roger because you know what I mean, after a while it turns into like, hey, can you go do this? Yeah, Roger, Sergeant, I got it. Yeah, Roger, Sergeant, I got it. And then after a while it's like, all right, yeah, Roger. Or like, yeah. You know how like, yeah, like your kids would be like, yeah, yep, yep. y'all don't pat us on the back. What do you mean y'all don't pat us on the back? Your husband gives you kudos all the time. I hear him give you kudos all the time.
Wait a minute. No, I think there's something to this because my wife always says to me this. You have no idea all the stuff that I do for this family. And I'm like, I don't. And I don't. So I can't give you kudos. I have no idea the shit you do. No idea. I assume it's all the stuff I'm not doing, which I assume is a lot.
A lot, yeah. But even then, like, if you want us to pat us on your back, don't try to pull the kudos card in the middle of an argument. Like, that's not the time to pull the kudos card, because then it just turns in like tit for tat. Like, you did this, I did this, but y'all weirdos will live in a mess. Yes, my personal space can be a mess. Now, the living room, all that needs to be clean. Exactly.
Absolutely.
I think there's a difference between a mess and dirty, right? So a mess is me when I come in the house. I will drop my clothes off wherever they land, and then at some point later on the night, I'll pick them up and put them in a dirty hamper, maybe in the morning. Why would you keep doing this something that wasn't rewarding for you?
That's another good question, but again, it's like, here's what I'm the George Papadopoulos of this family.
Okay.
You guys remember George Papadopoulos? That was the first Russian contact for Trump, and he said he was a coffee fetcher, even though he was in a national security meeting. Anyway, sorry for that joke. I go get her coffee almost every day at Starbucks, to where like she just kind of looks at me now and she's like, "Hey, run to Starbucks."
Starbucks, bitch.
And Rob, I can't even be like, I'm in the middle of. Now you're yelling at me. Like,
oh my god,
we had just asked me to do you a favor. Now I can't even be like pissed about it.
Exactly, especially when it's like at that moment. Like, we ask for something, hey, can you do this? Whenever you get at your earliest convenience. When they ask, right then and there, and they see us doing something. No, you're missing the point. We don't need a pat on the back. We just do it. Y'all act like you deserve an award for picking something you dropped.
All right, see, here's the problem, Devonna. See, this is Mars and Venus stuff. Okay?
Which I'm all for the shits today.
Here's how stupid I am, right? And I don't know you other than through here. I think I got a good sense of the kind of person you are, and I think you're fantastic, and Rob certainly speaks very highly of you. So
Almost
that said, I'm so stupid that when you said y'all don't pat us on the back, I thought you were being serious. And I think my wife, it's probably the same sarcasm. Yeah, missing the point. We don't need a pat on the back. We just do it. Y'all act like you deserve an award for picking up something you dropped. So here's where I think the miscommunication is. We deserve credit for picking up the thing we dropped, and you deserve credit for doing everything that's not just that thing that got dropped. Everybody should get a little pat on the back because it's nice.
Exactly. Yeah, can we get the same love you want? You want reciprocated? That's it. We just want the same love. You mean Webster's adoptive?
I think his name also was Papadopoulos. That is correct.
Webster Papadopoulos.
I'll have to look that up now.
Got to do a little research, but yeah.
A little Webster reference on the show tonight. Oh, that's funny too. Little Webster.
There you go. Look, we're all over the place. We're killing them, hitting all the little, what is it, puns? I guess. Maybe?
Yeah. So. I'm glad we're talking about this because, again, I've had a couple of friends of ours divorce during the COVID pandemic shutdown quarantine thing. And in both situations, my wife was like, "Oh my God, you'll never believe who got divorced." And I always guess it within 2. And she's like, "How did you guess that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I could just always tell something weird was going on there. It never felt right. It felt a little forced." Here's the thing. If the wife thinks the husband's an idiot, but not in a fun way, it doesn't work out.
If the wife thinks the husband's an idiot, but
if you're a fucking dope and your wife is like, "Oh my God, he's such a fucking dope," and she tells it like it's funny cutesy, you're golden.
You're good.
Be a
okay.
Fucking moron the rest of your life, and
got you.
You just do whatever she says. if she talks to her friends and she's like, he's a lazy fucking idiot. There's no hope for this fucking jackass. And everybody's like, oh, no, he's a good guy. Ah, whatever. You're fucked.
You're fucked. You're just out of there. You're out of there.
That's how you know. But wouldn't you say I think it's fair to say that women do not communicate well.
I would agree. I feel like, and it was funny, I've seen this meme trickle around where they're like, women are always like, it's funny how you can never communicate with me, but when you're playing Call of Duty, you're communicating the best with your friends. You could tell them exactly where you're at. What's up there, Santa brother? How you doing? But yeah, you can communicate with your guys. And I'm like, yeah, because when I'm communicating with my guys, they open. You're just like, yeah, nope, I'm not talking about. Nope, don't want to talk. So I'll come on and speak. Oh, man. Oh, we got it. Oh, I think we've hooked her. We've cooked her. We do way more. You got to go on vacation and leave a honey-do list to remind them how much you do. Is that really...
All right, hold on, Mama. Listen, I get to do lists all the time. And you know what I do? I complete everything on the list. And I'm like, hey, I finished the list. And you know what she says? I wish you didn't have to tell you what to do.
I'm not in your mind. I don't
just
know.
knocked that shit out the park. How about a little high five?
Exactly. And then, give me the high five and then talk the shit. We do communicate. Pick up your fucking shit. No, you know how she communicated. Oh, we want to talk about communication since we're here before we get out of here, right? You want to talk about her communication? Her communication was leaving threatening notes on the refrigerator door for us to do it. And then guess what? It still didn't get done until like 20 minutes before she got home. So, you know what I mean? Come on. Damn, you said that, Joe. My girl looked at me and said, that's a lie. Here we go. Look at us. You know what? Before we start some shit up, it's good. We're gonna table this. We're gonna table this. We're gonna get a few women on. I think we'll go like 2 and 2, right? And we'll have this discussion. So like, yeah. Let's see what it says. Was it done though? Yeah, the stuff was done. We got it done, but it got done. Yeah. You had to.
Yeah, I mean,
but it wasn't.
At the end of the day, if it gets done, does it matter how or why? You know what I mean? Like, my wife was bugging me for like a year to power wash. We have a retaining wall around the pool, right?
Yep.
You've seen it. You've been here.
Yep.
And it's an old wooden retainer wall. It's really cool looking. And so for like a year, she's like, I want you to borrow my buddy's power washer and power wash the wall. And I was like, yeah, maybe. If I have some time, I'll do it. You know what she did? She bought me a power washer for my birthday last June.
That's hilarious.
Joke's on her because I fucking love it. Right?
Yeah, you just power wash everything. You turn it into the best thing ever.
The shit out of it. So, by the way, I think I showed you. I didn't quite get the entire wall done last summer because it's enormous.
It's huge as hell.
Like 3/4 of it done. And I'm like, wow, Mike, that looks pretty amazing. And here's what she said. I told you it would. Well, but I did it.
But I did it.
I had to tell you to do it. But I did it, and it looks awesome. Can you just say that part now?
Yeah, like it looks good. Good job. And then, talk all the shit you want to, maybe.
Maybe I'm just a stupid guy.
We're all stupid guys.
I just want a little kudos when I finally do something. Why is that so hard to understand?
Where's the love?
I understand that you do way more. I do get it. I'm not stupid. Like I'm not that stupid. I see it. I know there's like a 70-30 dynamic in there. I do. And that's the reason when she says, can you run to Starbucks real quick? And I'm in the middle of a million things. I'm like, yeah, fine. Yeah. And I go, but that's not good enough. But I still go. And then I'll get her a scone because I made like a noise when she, you know what I mean?
And that's what it is,
Savannah's over here killing on me, finally. Yeah, that's right. So it takes me a while. It's not that I don't want to do it.
It's just
it is.
Yeah, we don't want to do it. We want to do it on our time, even though our time might seem a little bit slower. But,
I hate being told what to do.
Exactly. Imagine if there was nice little notes that was like, hey, would you mind doing this and this? And maybe something fun. Like now I'm intrigued to do it. Like now, yes, I'm energized to do it. I'm motivated. Just like if we want, just the same way we like to motivate and energize if we want something done. Like, can we get the same thing? You know what I'm saying? Just like you said, we do a lot less, but we do the tedious shit. So like, I'm sure your wife right now, if she wanted something outrageous, she could sit there and say, "Hey, can you go to Dairy Queen and go get me a whatever thing?" You would go do it, because just the same way I would. We all do. Just do it. Oh man, let's see. Frank says the more we are told to do it, the less we want to do it. Yeah, so we do it on our time. Exactly. Like as I always say, ask with a smile on your face, and you got it. Do you ask your child if they can please clean up their mess? I do.
No, but there's a big difference here.
I do.
We're grown children.
Exactly.
We're grown men children. So yes, we're a little bit different. That's all. I don't see what the women honestly aren't understanding about this little bit we're doing.
So there we go. See, now this is unfair. She can't play this one. She can't play this card. But yes, it's very true. She's speaking to my dad. She was my dad was there. So
damn,
we all know,
that's good stuff. You know what? It actually reminds me of I don't know if you guys heard this, but it's a thing going around Facebook. A woman lost her husband, and her friend go jogging or walking or whatever they're doing. And the wife gets a text, the friend, not the one that lost her husband. And she turns to her friend and she's like, "Oh, like this fucking asshole wants me to make chili for dinner tonight, and I don't have like beans and sauce or whatever." And they start kind of jogging or walking, whatever they're doing, for a few minutes. And the widow turns to the other one and she goes, "Just make the chili."
Just make
and
the
I
chili.
like that. It's you never know, you know what I mean? And I think at the end of the day, because I'm mostly joking right now with most of what I'm saying.
Oh yeah. That's
all these are legit things she said to me, don't get me wrong, but I try to be better. I try to, you know what I mean? I always tell her, look, I can't promise that I'm going to do more housework because I'm probably not. But I am going to try.
Exactly. Make a solid effort.
Whatever that means.
And it would be nice to get that effort acknowledged, right? I might not, just acknowledge the effort, right? Just acknowledge it. It might not, it's, hey, good job. I see you doing it. You're good. Let's see. So.
Oh my God, man. Dude, I love that.
Jesus, y'all just chatting. We know you ain't that crazy. That's hilarious. Oh man. Well, with that being said,
dude,
we're gonna.
Hold on. I just gotta say this. I love this because I think I don't know how long we've been talking about this. Let's say it's probably been about 30 minutes.
Yep.
You literally started out in the first 30 minutes. First thing you said was like, "We don't get enough credit." And then like at the 10-minute mark, you kind of hit that point again. You sort of worked it in again around that. And then to cap it again.
Yeah, I'm narcissistic as fuck. I'm narcissistic as fuck.
I know I don't deserve this, and I know you do more, but can you just tell me I did a good job today?
That's it. Well, not even not just every day. Like maybe just once in a while. Like throw me a bone too. You know what I'm saying? If you throw me a bone, I'll throw you 50.
Do you think it's fair to say that they don't understand how important that is to us as idiots?
And that's a whole nother topic. You know what? I think this is all something that we can work into that whole episode when we get two women here. But to the point of I think women overlook that men need some kind of, nurturing, not just when we're sick. You know what I'm saying? We do need nurturing. We don't have to be portrayed as a hard, rough, tough all the time, right? You don't have to hold us to that standard. Joe sipping White Claws in the guys. Yo, Sketchy Peasant, I need you. What we need you to do, Sketchy, is you need to we need you to write email White Claw and tag us and see if we can get a sponsorship, because as many times as you talk about Joe and his White Claws, we're good at. on the couch while watching the Yankees lose every day is not contributing to household chores. That's hilarious. Oh man, well, I appreciate you guys for letting us just kind of freestyle today. It was interesting because I probably had time to do it, like to write a whole script. I didn't want to. I'm not gonna lie. I had so many other things on my mind the past 2 weeks, and everything's just kind of been overwhelming, underwhelming, and just all in between. So it was like I felt it was necessary to call this freestyling because one, I wanted to see if we could actually like freestyle the episode, and I think we killed this shit.
Oh yeah.
Like.
Sure.
Which was interesting, and then because even like freestyling, when I think of freestyling, that goes back to like the days like freestyle rappers and stuff. Like you had to be good. Like you can't just freestyle off the hip. You know what I'm saying? So like it was kind of like an exercise for us, and I feel like we killed this freestyle exercise, and it was a way for me to kind of like release and vent without going crazy. So I appreciate you guys, everybody in the comments. Joe, as always, I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you. Man, I look at this 41 and I'm like, shit, we're 41 episodes in. Thank God we're out of the 30s. It felt like we were in the 30s forever, and now I'm like, shit, 41. Holy shit, we're almost to 50. We might have to do something special for 50. I don't know.
We should definitely do something special for 50.
Know. Think about something interesting, special to do for 50, or what. Should we do 50 or 52? Because 52 is what? 52 weeks? I got to look and see exactly when we started, but yeah.
Yeah, 52 weeks obviously
52
is
weeks.
a year, but 50 is a special number.
Yeah, we'll do 50. We'll figure something out for 50.
Go show guys what, Frank, you weirdo.
I think even he left the O and the D at the car wash. It's still getting spun. Sketchy. Appreciate you, brother. All right. Well, as always, you guys know where to listen to us on all podcast platforms, wherever you listen to podcasts. Most of all, clovercrestmedia.com / I'll pitch you off shortly, or just clovercrestmedia.com and check out all of the podcasts, all of the live show. Make sure you guys are hitting the bells and all that notification stuff, sharing, reversing those algorithms. Make sure you guys give us a like, please. Like, thumbs up. YouTube, Facebook. You can find us on Instagram at I'll Piss You Off Shortly. And yeah, outside of that, make sure you guys are staying safe, stay dangerous. Maybe we might get to the politics next week or something. I don't know. I kind of like not going into like crazy mode. This was a good release, so I don't know. A lot more to look forward to. Almost to 50. Make sure you guys tell a friend to tell a friend. Right before I leave, in rotation, Morray, Moray. Yeah, Morray. Make sure you guys Quicksand Moray. Look him up. This dude, this young man. I can't even say young man. He's like 27, but his story and his come up and his album that he has out now, amazing. Like, I don't want to say country, southern musician. Rap, hip hop, R&B ish, super dope. And it's not like your typical urban. Well, I don't want to say urban, but it's not your hip hop, rap music that everybody hears. There's actually some real good like messaging and shit into it. So like, it's dope. Everybody go check out Moray, Morray. That's my in rotation. And yeah, outside of that, we gone. Catch us on Monday. I promise. We might be early next Monday. I don't know. I'm going to see what I can try and pull, but yeah. Catch us Monday nights. You guys know where to find us at I'll Pitch You Off Shortly. Take care. Be safe. Good night.
One day. I'm going to get it right one day. Hey, remember how many times you used to do the messages for your voicemail? It goes something like this. What's going on, everyone? Thanks for locking into another episode of I'll Piss You Off Shortly. This is the podcast where we debate everyday issues, pushing your thought process beyond what's normal. The topics discussed here are meant to be intense, promote growth, and at times may have you feeling a little bit uncomfortable. Me too, a little bit. We may not always agree, and we will more than likely have varied opinions. But with that being said, I can't promise to be your favorite podcaster. Neither do I want to. But I can promise to be transparent, fair, and open-minded. So please, if you think you've got the stamina, passion to debate, analyze, and challenge the normal, please take a number. I promise you, I'll piss you off shortly.